Let me check it. Can you hear me? Okay. All right. Hello, everyone. ITS Georgia members and guests. Wow, we are all in person. I did check the number of days since our last ITS Georgia meeting, in-person meeting. It's been over 480 days. That's how long it's been since we've been in the same room together. So this is quite amazing. This is awesome. The board committee chairs, everyone's still been doing a lot of work behind the scenes, even though you guys haven't really gotten to see us, preparing for a fantastic 2021. I've got probably over half a dozen items I need to go through and maybe have some people stand up to inform you guys about for some of these things. So first of all, I want to give out a shout out to Brooke Martin and Stephen Sheffield, who have done a phenomenal job with our membership committee, as we are up to 74 organizations. We think we got another one on the way in. They've made the commitment to be members of ITS Georgia. If you have any questions as to whether or not your organization is a member, please do not hesitate to reach out to me or Brooke and Stephen Sheffield. They'll definitely check that out for you, see maybe who we're sending invoices to, so that we can make sure you guys are all full members ready to go. The next one, real quickly, our service committee chairs, Keith Rowling and Dino Pampolina, have worked up a proposal to collect donations from all of you to provide backpacks and necessary school items for kids in our community. We are again partnering with the Boys and Girls Club to help with these efforts and hope you all will find some way to support. And with that, because Keith and Dino is not here, I'm going to let Tom stand up real quickly, or either way, I don't know if they can hear you, but just give them an idea of the details of how they can help support this.
So, as Winter said, we're putting together a sponsorship drive for backpacks and supplies to go to the Boys and Girls Club in Metro Atlanta. We'll put a welcome off the website in the next few days here. We'll be able to go on and sponsor a complete set, so a backpack with all the supplies. For our drive will be roughly in the $5 range. And I think we'll do maybe a little contest where the person who's the most generous sponsors the most might get a little piece of paper. I'm going to call it a frameable piece of paper, I think I might have to put it, at the annual meeting. So, but it's for great cause, and yeah, we look forward to your support.
And of course, it's going to be a really quick turnaround. As we know, summer is already happening, and we need to get these backpacks fully prepped together, get them to the Boys and Girls Club so that they can also get them out to the children who need them. So just keep that in mind. Be on the lookout. Check out the website. And this is, we're kind of offering this last year just to let some of you know, since we were not in person. We actually, with organization donations and everything, we actually helped with the laptop shortage that was going on around the Metro Atlanta area with the kids and stuff. So when we all went digital and virtual, you guys, the support of ITS Georgia members, the group, we supplied over $10,000 worth of laptops to children who needed them so that they could help with their virtual learning experience or situation, however we want to look at it. So that's going to be our kind of service committee this year, outreach committee. So I'm looking forward to all of you. Rachel Cohen, our networking chair, I would like for her to just stand up real quickly to talk about, we might actually have an in-person networking event.
Yay. So not next Thursday, but Thursday after, Thursday, July 8th, we're going to do our first in-person networking social in Roswell. We're going to do the Gate City Brewery. And I'll send out details. Bill will later today, probably. We'll offer free beer flights to the first probably 20 people, and then after that, something else. There'll be a link for the backpack drive underneath it, so you cannot come unless you donate to the backpack drive, because it's in the backpack. So donate to the backpack drive, and then come. Not one person laughed at that.
I thought it was great. I'm laughing.
It's been a long drive. All right, it was a little funny, a little bit.
So again, we've got a lot of things happening. This backpack drive, networking event coming up July 8th. And then we have another one that is 1 month. You have 1 month. Nominations are open. Our past president runs this, Jenny Johnson. She's actually on virtually, so she can't really speak to this, so I'm going to speak to it. But nominations for our 2022 through 2023 officers and directors open today, June 23rd, and will close 1 month from today, on July 23rd. Please nominate yourself, which is highly recommended, highly encouraged, or someone you know to get more involved in the ITS Georgia organization. All officer positions are opening, the president, vice president, secretary, and treasurer, as well as 4 director positions. These are 2-year terms, so please, again, reach out to any of us, myself, any of the board members, any of the old board members, there's a lot of those in the room, and just ask, if you're interested, ask what that involves, and we'll be more than happy to work with you on that, because we definitely love seeing some new faces in, brings just more to our board, more ideas, helps us through things like 100-year pandemics and stuff. Hopefully we won't be going through that over the next 2 years. All right, now to our program committee, which includes Whitney Nottage, Tom Glucker, and Emily Dwyer. They've just about finalized all of our meetings for this year. So what you're seeing, today we're in person. Next month, we're back here at City Springs to get a TIM overview with our Hero Police and Time Task Force. In August, we're back here in City Springs. Obviously, we had a few contracts that had to be delayed from the pandemic, so we are here in City Springs for the next 3 months. And sorry about, just be aware with what's going out on 285. Talk to Matt Glasser and other GDOT people about it if you need more information, but it's John Hibbern's over here, he's laughing. But just prepare for more time in the next coming months, we'll state that. So August we're back here, City Springs, more detail about the Midtown CVTSP project. And then September is our annual meeting, which I'll come back to. Ty Alexander with AECOM's preparing that. And October is scheduled to be a joint Georgia ITS Georgia meeting with more details to come, but I'm hearing has a lot to do with the GDOT TMC, so keep your eyes open on that. And then November, we're bringing back our awards banquet, in which we will have a call out for awards probably next month. So be thinking about some awards that people so well deserve, even over the past 2 years, because we did miss last year's awards. So you can even go back 2 years ago for projects, individuals, things like that. So be prepared for that. That will be at the Maggiano's Cumberland location. And then December, we are looking at a training opportunity. So again, our programs committee has done a phenomenal job wrapping up the 2021 year. Now back to our 2021 annual meeting. Registration sponsorship is open. Ty Alexander with AECOM is leading the efforts in planning this fantastic annual meeting. Please reserve your hotel room, which is, and mark your calendars. So in Savannah, Georgia this year, September 19th to the 21st, with a theme of On the Road Again. Ty, do you have any? I want you to stand up and let people know. This is Ty.
We are excited to have this conference. We hope we get a good turnout. That's the biggest part of having such a successful conference. So please register and get a seat out.
Yes. Thanks, Ty. So looking out one more year, this is kind of way out, ITS Georgia, as the lead conference chair, is moving forward with planning the Southeastern ITS Summit next November in 2022. This will be a regional conference with ITS Florida, ITS South Carolina, ITS Tennessee, and GRITS, bringing together 8 states to showcase innovative ITS projects and products. So Mike Holt is leading those efforts. If you guys want to know more about that or get involved, Mike Holt is your best person to talk to, but that is going to be obviously a very large conference, so it's already in the making. Things are already happening. It's moving forward really quickly. Mike, anything else? Are you good? Nope.
Just thankful to have good committee structures in place.
Amen. All right, next, finally, want to thank you all for making it to City Springs in person, as well as those of you who are still taking advantage of our virtual component, to hear about a day in the life of a maintenance contract. Before we begin the technical side of the program, I want to present this month's sponsor. As we all know, we can't continue with these monthly meetings, continue with our organization goals without our sponsors and those who are supporting us. So big thank you to David Swells with Illuminate for your continued support with ITS Georgia. We look forward to hearing about you and your company. Everybody give him a round of applause.
Thanks for coming today, and I appreciate the opportunity to present to y'all. David and his team have put together a great presentation. Just wanted to give you a quick overview about Illuminate and who we are. A lot of you know us previously as Carlson Construction Services, but in December of this year, we actually merged with a few other companies to create a bigger initiative and have more of a national footprint. Basically, we have 3 separate companies that joined. One of them is in Colorado, in Arvada, Colorado, and we cover about 3 or 4 states over in that side. And then we have 2 offices here in Georgia that serve Alabama and North Carolina, and obviously Georgia. Let's see here. So our mission statement for the new corporation is that is to adopt an effort to combine state-of-the-art technology with unparalleled customer service to make transportation flow better, faster, and safer. We're a full-service ITS, ATMS, traffic signal and lighting integrator and installer that focuses on providing innovative delivery techniques and utilizing emerging technologies. Many of you are aware of the Vision Zero initiative. At Illuminate, we're committing to the principles and standards adopted by Vision Zero. In addition, we are going a step further and trying to work with engineers and consultant partnerships that we have to identify opportunities to also decrease emissions by implementing new technologies that will hopefully reduce emissions and congestion. I need new glasses apparently too. Illuminate's core values, we're strictly adhering to our core values. Teamwork is our first and foremost. One of the new things that we developed with the company is we're actually setting up a 4-year apprenticeship for ITS and traffic signal installers. We've actually gotten the program accredited by the Department of Labor, so it's a federally accredited program. And the people will be able to go through a 4-year degree. By the time they're done, they'll have this certification with basic, profit, or be able to raise their salaries up, and hopefully provide us with a good workforce. I mean, I think we're all struggling trying to find a good workforce to help us out there, especially on the field level. Sustainability, part of us all joining together was trying to have a more robust safety program, and we've really implemented a lot of great safety protocols for us here in Atlanta and across the states that we work in. Accountability. Most of you know us. I stand behind our work, and we, always really strive to do a great job. And then innovation, is obviously the forefront of what we do, and we've developed a lot of strategic partnerships with a lot of you in this room that help us really do some great projects that we can deliver. A little bit of our capabilities. Some of this stuff we're not doing in Georgia, but in Colorado in particular. They host a network operations center there. They actually monitor over 46 different municipalities' traffic signal systems, and they do preventative maintenance, inspections, system checks. They've also implemented a patented program they have called the Healthcare Index. In Colorado, they have different problems than we do with magnesium chloride. And the lifespan of their traffic signal poles is about half of what it would normally be or recommended by the installer. So we have a multitude of new services that we'll be able to provide based off of the new partnership. The other services that obviously we're doing here in Georgia, traffic signals, roadway lighting, and obviously ITS is a big portion of what our services are here locally. This is a map of where we're pre-qualified in states that we're currently actually pursuing contracts and pre-qualification process in. We've got a lot of good opportunities out there, and a lot of stuff with broadband. We're seeing a huge expanse of different programs coming out and opportunities. This is some of our offices. On the left is our Arvada office, and then the 2 offices that we have here locally in Georgia. We're actually actively looking to open an office in Huntsville, Alabama right now, as well as Raleigh, Durham, North Carolina. And then just a copy of our fleet, and the services that we provide. We actually have over 400 pieces of equipment that we can provide to service any of y'all's needs that we have out there. So that's it. I appreciate the opportunity, and I'll give it back to Winter. Thank you, Winter.
I'm going to shut this if that's okay. All right. Thank you so much, David, for sponsoring again. All right, let us prepare to hear about how to step into a day in the life of a maintenance contract with the help from our presenters, David St. John and J.P. Braden. But before we pass the torch to those two, let me give a brief introduction to our moderator and ITS Georgia board member, Emily. Emily Dwyer currently serves as the state ITS engineer for GDOT and has worked in the transportation industry for the past 9 years. Emily previously worked as a designer in Washington, D.C., and is a proud Georgia Tech grad. So with that, the floor is yours, Emily.
Thank you, Winter. It's really awesome to stand up here and see everybody, I just have to say. I know Winter touched on that, but we haven't all been together like this, and I know we've all missed it. So I love getting to stand up here and see everyone, and just wanted to say what a great pleasure that is. And it's also my pleasure to introduce our two presenters today. We have David St. John and J.P. Braden, and I get to work with them on a pretty regular basis, maybe sometimes more than they would hope. And so I'm really excited for them to get the opportunity to get up here today and tell you guys a little bit about what we do. So David St. John is the DTS Vice President, Southern Region, responsible for operations, engineering, management, technical, and field staff, positioned throughout the southern United States, supporting installation, operations, and maintenance of transportation technologies, including ITS. And none more important than the GDOT statewide ITS maintenance project, where he is the senior program manager, for which DTS is responsible for monitoring and maintaining critical ITS assets. I didn't tell him to put that in there. I promise it's already there. A graduate of Virginia Tech with a degree in civil engineering, he is an experienced multi-state licensed professional civil engineer with a strong track record of success in operations and business growth, managing all phases of various large intelligent transportation systems, heavy construction, transportation infrastructure, land development, and public works projects for his government and private sector clients. His experience has involved ITS, national parks, highway improvements, water, storm and wastewater utilities, concrete, land development, traffic engineering initiatives, and a variety of other construction projects up to $150 million in value. He has worked with federal, state, and local government managing projects from concept, design, zoning, construction, and project buyout. In addition, in the private sector, he has been involved in land planning, site development, AASHTO, and highway design projects. And joining him today, we have J.P. Braden. J.P. has worked in the ITS industry for the past 14 years. Over those last 14 years, J.P. started the inaugural Georgia ITS maintenance contract and has been an active participant ever since. He originally started his career working with World Fiber Technologies and has, for the last 6 years, been working with the Carlson Luminate team. In January of 2020, Luminate joined forces with Digital Traffic Systems and was awarded another 5-year contract. JP has been directly involved in the management of this project and shown how successful the project can be. Several times over the course of the contract, JP has brought the system to 100% operational status. He has also created and implemented several technical innovation projects, most notably partnering with AECOM to deploy an AID system pilot along 475. The AID platform is now being deployed across the Metro Atlanta footprint. When JP is not managing the ITS contract, he is busy feeding goats and chickens on the farm they reside at in Powder Springs. JP is married and has 2 young daughters. So please welcome JP and David St. John.
How's everybody doing? Good? Good. Hopefully that'll come up here in a second. There we go. All right, thank you everyone. We appreciate the opportunity to speak to y'all today. I'm David St. John, and JP and I are going to be a tag team, and we also have another special guest that will make a presentation within our presentation. So this ought to be pretty interesting to see how we pull it off. I will say that this is a very team-oriented group. We have many members, some of you in the audience we're also part of our team and assist in this program. So everything that we've done has been really team-related. Our coverage area is statewide, obviously, and it really means statewide. Pulled this out of a dashboard that we have. It's a little hard to see, but the area in blue is the metro Atlanta area, so that's where the majority of our devices are. But you'll see throughout the state there are devices in Savannah, Columbus, Brunswick, and other various counties. So we truly cover the entire state, with the key areas being Metro Atlanta, express lanes, and ramp meters. Sometimes people don't realize that we do maintenance on the ramp meters as well. To support this, we have a NOC, and that NOC works 24/7 every day of the year, and they monitor the system. So there are tools that we've worked with GDOT to put together that feed information into our IM system. And so with that, the NOC monitors the alerts that they get and attempt to resolve. And so you'll notice on this NOC resolve spreadsheet, everything in blue is what our NOC resolves and helps our team members from having to do a truck roll. So anything we can do to remotely take care of things and fix things, we want to do that so that our team doesn't have to go out in the field, because that is the most dangerous part of our work, is the work that the field technicians do every day. We also, with our NOC, make sure that devices are available, and we have a historic repository of information, so it helps not only the technicians, but it helps GDOT make plans about what devices might need to be changed and replaced. And then at the end, once the work order is done, the team with the NOC does a quality assurance where they look at the work that was done, they look at pictures and notes and make sure everything was done correctly and accurately, and we didn't miss anything. So how the day starts is we put together a listing of devices that are down. We also have within IMS a listing of devices that are down that they can access at any time. It doesn't matter day or night to see what's up or down. And then the guys will take that information and develop their work orders, and JP's going to talk about that. And some of the tickets that they triage, they take care of the next day. Some of them they have to set up a lane closure. So at this point, I'm going to turn it over to JP to talk about how the day starts.
Thanks, David. So our day starts actually the night before with some of those tools and reports that DTS provides us based on where the system's at. I've got some graphics here. You know, some of the tools, Navigator, we're actually going back in after DTS has given us a ticket and verifying that it is still a down ticket. We do our own triage as well. We've got the inbox, checking my emails, seeing what else is coming in from, you know, not necessarily DTS, but GDOT and some of the other municipalities. We've got the Skyline DTS, or DMS system, not DMS, sorry, Skyline CCTV system down there, as well as one of the Tableau dashboards showing the current state of the system. That's how we start our day out, looking at these different dashboards and figuring out where we need to head, where is our trouble spots, and then this next one, too. Preventative maintenance is a big part of what we do as well. We've got cabinet device checks. We do cleaning, vegetation removal. Part of the DTS program, we're taking pictures of each one of these cabinets as we're clearing out these PM tickets, proving that this, the next slide will show you the checklist. But that slide, or that checklist, has been completed and actually is completed, not just somebody checking a box on a form saying it's been completed. You have visual verification of that. Why it matters is it helps us find issues before they actually become problems. We'll run across, you know, fiber that's been degraded, and we'll actually go ahead and fix it before it fails and creates a problem ticket for us. An example of the PM checklist. This one's actually kind of a shorter one. We have many more steps on some of the other devices. I got Daniel out there. He was really pleased to be part of this presentation too. Got a little smile for you. But he's out there doing some of the vegetation control as well as cleaning out the cabinets. So we go down this checklist, and it's got steps for the site, what's actually at the site, the device, and then the cabinet level as well. For corrective maintenance, you see here I put a picture of some of the stuff we encounter when we go. We got a ticket in the system. AWS is down. That one happens to be Pleasant Hill, 85 South. It's a constant knockdown and put back up. We actually just got a task order to relocate it about 100 feet south, out of the way of all those Gwinnett motorists trying to head south. Another problem we encounter on a daily basis is guardrail maintenance. We call them fiber locators. They'll go out there and they'll find a fiber really quick for you. And we got the chart there too showing where we've gotten to 100% available status a couple times during 2021. And then we've got Drew or Sean up in the bucket truck. Once he's found out that a camera is not able to be resolved, the problem is not able to be resolved from the ground, we've got to go up in the air. So we'll send out our 105-foot bucket truck, and he'll go up in the air and actually replace the device.
All right. Yep. So we also do locates. We'll get locate requests from GDOT. As you know, there's a lot of construction going on in this state, so we do a lot of work with locates. It takes about 4 technicians on a pretty steady basis just to keep up with the locates that we do. So it's quite a bit of work. We'll do the locate for any ITS infrastructure. Doesn't get a lot of attention, but it really protects the ITS assets that we have out in the field. So every month we show this to GDOT, but it lists the work orders that we're doing for that month in locates. But you'll notice that we do anywhere between probably 30 to 80 locates a month in the state, and obviously that picks up during this time of year with increased activity. I'm taking the Bill Gunther piece here, so Bill couldn't be with us today, but we do express lane maintenance also. We cover 40 miles of express lanes, a lot of barrier gates. Enrique and I get calls a lot at night. Barrier gate 701 was hit. We can almost call them out. It's like the same ones get hit a lot, and we know when it's raining they're going to get hit. So that takes a dedicated team to go out there 24/7. So with that, Bill put together a presentation about the specific to the express lanes that we're going to see.
Good afternoon, ITS Georgia. I'm Bill Gunner with Brooksbury Haney, and I'm currently standing at access point 5 on the Northwest Corridor Express lanes. Operational support and maintenance at express lanes is a critical component to our overall ITS maintenance program. Today, we're going to give you a quick glimpse into what it takes to maintain over 40 miles of express lanes. From a lens that costs a few dollars to a thermal camera that costs as much as that truck behind me, there's a lot of parts and pieces that make up the ITS system on the express lanes.
Operating from 2 warehouse locations, we maintain an inventory of spare components for both express lanes and ITS devices. Controllers, cameras, LED boards, gate arms, and everything in between. Our stock inventory averages around 1,000 devices and individual components to meet the needs of the maintenance program. There are a lot of parts needed to keep this system running.
Depending on where you look, you may not think you're even dealing with ITS. Our industry has progressed so much that the weakest link is no longer in the technology. It's actually in parts that have not changed in 50 years, like this shear pin.
For example, the system that opens and closes the gates on the express lanes consists of servers, fiber optic lines, PLCs, touchscreen controllers, and relays. But a driver not paying attention, hitting a gate, and breaking a simple shear pin can derail all of it. That's where we come in.
It's lunchtime on a sunny Thursday afternoon. Chances are it's going to be a routine day. Emergencies only seem to happen at night, on the weekend, in the rain, right before a holiday.
We get called to respond at all hours of the day and night in all conditions, and it could be for anything from a network outage to a barrier gate being hit. One recent example happened on the South Metro Express lanes on the Friday afternoon before Memorial Day weekend. One of our technicians heading home witnessed police chasing a driver in the express lanes and noticed that several gates had been hit, including a barrier gate. Instead of waiting on the call for service, we immediately began mobilizing resources to repair and replace the damaged gates. Within an hour, we had personnel on site, and by 10 p.m. that night, after working through a heavy rainstorm, we had the gates repaired and operational. We get our fair share of emergencies such as these. We like to say, if it exists, someone, somewhere, will find a way to drive a car into it. Every day is not like this. There's plenty of less dramatic work to be done in between all the excitement. The access control system is a life safety system, so it's critical that we keep it maintained to the highest levels of operation to reduce the likelihood of failures. Routine maintenance of devices, both corrective and preventive, keep the system operating properly. We routinely have the system at 100% operational levels, and that's thanks to the hard work of the field technicians, the NOC staff, and everyone in between.
Now that I've piqued your interest with all the high drama and excitement, let's see what a more normal day looks like in ITS maintenance.
It starts with making sure the best guys in the business have the best equipment and tools at their disposal, and, as we've already shown, making sure they have access to all the parts they need. Work orders, preventive maintenance, and dispatching are handled the same way as with non-express lane devices. However, we keep in constant communications with the TMC via phone and two-way radio when working in the express lanes. Due to the limited access nature of where we are working, coordinating with the TMC operations is a must. Because the express lanes have limited room to pull over and stop to access a cabinet, much of the preventive and even some of the corrective maintenance can only be done when the express lanes are closed. That's where night and weekend work comes in. The most common call we get is for a gate arm that got clipped or a spot device outage. If we don't have any of those, it's likely we'll be doing preventive maintenance on the various components.
Out of the approximately 2,700 devices that BDH maintains as part of this maintenance program, 600 or so are express lane devices, but not everything is a gate like this. There's also infrared cameras, conventional cameras, open-close DMS, and related access control system components.
Between the routine work and emergencies, maintaining the express lanes is a full-time job. We have personnel dedicated to express lane maintenance in addition to a 24/7, 365 on-call rotation. No matter what happens or when it happens, the TMC can get in touch with our technicians so we can address any issue that may come up. There really is no such thing as a routine day. Any given day can go from slow to full-on emergency in the blink of an eye. We take safety very seriously because, as everyone who works out on the road knows, it's a very dangerous place to be. The danger to ourselves is very real, and going home at the end of the day is job number one.
As you've seen over the last few minutes, there's a lot that goes into maintaining the express lanes. I want to thank GDOT for giving us, the DTS team, the opportunity to be part of this program, and to all of you for your time this afternoon. And lastly, I want to thank the dedicated technicians who put in the work day in and day out in oftentimes challenging conditions. Without their hard work, this wouldn't be possible. I'm proud to be a part of their team.
All right, so as you can see, and that is really a good snapshot of what the whole team does in that express lane work. It applies to everything that we do. Some other things that our team does is system improvements. We just recently completed a project where we upgraded the old legacy Olympic era cameras and fiber and things like that. So in addition to our maintenance, we will be doing updates as we go along. We also fulfill what we call special requests. So we'll get a call, hey, can you go open that hub door for Joe Smith, or can you go out and find out about this project that's going on, where does it stand? And so we use a lot of the knowledge that many of our team members have who have been working in the state for many years to provide information back to GDOT. We'll also do work helping scope sites for future projects to try to figure out what might work in that area. And then currently we're under a system-wide device name change, and that's been probably one of our more challenging projects recently, where we're changing the name of every single device and making sure that we don't lose that historical legacy data going forward.
One of the other special requests we had, the CMS system around Truist Park, the Braves had a doubleheader, and start of the first game, they noticed a couple of these signs were out. So it was Sunday. I woke up, Jared, probably about 11:30. And Jared actually met me out there, and David actually ended up out there before it was all said and done. But we got the signs repaired and fixed before the start of the doubleheader, the second game of the doubleheader. I think it was, as I said, the 7th inning of the first game. We got all the signs back and up and online before traffic started coming in for the second game. So we were pretty excited about being able to do that, especially on a Sunday. You know, you're just glad sometimes somebody answers your calls, you know, because I would have been driving the bucket truck if not. Some of the stuff we do on innovations and testings, this was OptiSense we did last year, and we didn't get to fully test this due to the pandemic, but before the pandemic set in, we installed a couple of sensors down on I-20. Hub I, we put an interrogator unit, and then at Hub H, down at the heart of the city, we put a terminator. And that fiber interrogator unit is sending a pulse down that fiber, and it was picking up everything along the roadway, all the cars, the vehicles, and we were able to pull a lot of data out of it. It was a really cool system. We wouldn't have gotten to do it except for through this contract. As well, the carbine test, we tried the C-Light application with the TMC. We had our techs call in and let them know, or let the TMC operators know exactly where we were. They could put up a spot on the map showing my maintenance activities typically are not all day. It'll be 15 minutes to an hour. And sometimes those aren't captured in a TIR, a regular TIR request that we submit to the department. So this allowed them to not have to submit a TIR, but also let the department know where we were working. So if they got any calls or anything like that, they could easily cross-reference and say, hey, that's the maintenance guys, they're out there, and that's the reason that lane's closed. It should clear up in a little bit. Not necessarily a special request, but emergencies. We deal with emergencies sometimes. Camera 673 on 285 ramp to 75 south. They hit the overhead sign bridge, and we were called to remove the ITS equipment off of the pole, and ended up being able to help district remove the rest of the sign structure. But that was a pretty fun morning. I think Enrique called me at 3:45, 4 o'clock in the morning, and they had the roadway back open by 9. So that one was a pretty fun one. As you can imagine, a lot of folks are trying to get on 75 South at that area. They had to go down to Old Dixie and turn around. Actually, really 675 was the nearest one. But we got to get in there and give district a hand and cut the OSB loose at the end of the day there. Steve Cordell is with us here today. He doesn't want to be pointed out, but he's one of those hard hats in there. I woke him up at 4 o'clock and told him he had to get out there and give me a hand. Again, a little bit further back with camera 263, I-285, right before Columbia, or right before 20. Tractor trailer left the roadway, hit the pole, knocked the pole onto Columbia Drive. We were called to assist and help them get that pole off of the bridge and then clean up. Ironically, the semi was hauling guardrail. You can see that there. But we were able to respond fairly quickly and assist getting the roadway back open. They wouldn't leave the guardrail there for me, though. I was like, we're just going to have to put this right back. What are you talking about? All right, last emergency, N1C 101 on 85 up by the flex lane, just a little bit north of Jimmy Carter. We didn't have to cut this one down because they did it for us. They hit it straight on and knocked it about as pretty as you can please. We were able to get in there and replace this one under a task order. Just recently got it repaired as well. All right, and that gets to the end of the day, which is also the start of the day. This is Happy Jared. He is really mad that I used this slide. But as Bill said in his slide, we're really concerned with the guys being able to get home safe and as healthy as they started the day. You know, we've got a lot of safety protocols that help us get there. And then the next day starts, because really when our day ends, we get that report again and we just start doing the same thing. Planning on where are we going? Where is the outage at? Where do we need to focus all of our attention? So day ends, day starts.
With that, we'll take any questions or comments that you may have.
Don't be shy, guys,
Yes,
just because
sir.
it's our first time.
Yeah, ever from the maintenance stuff, do you guys concerned about like improvements on the construction road, like quality of the stains on the road, like in mind they improve the maintenance?
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear the question.
Yeah. Can you say that again, please?
Ever from the maintenance part, do you guys do any study or any kind of like assessment of improving the system out there? Make it like more effective?
improving
yeah,
the system.
So we do. We have within the IM system a series of dashboards that allow us, using Tableau, to really dive through some of this data that we get. We we track things from 3 specific calls and action, or failure, calls, and action. And so with that, we use that to determine if let's say we got a camera that maybe is a particular model that is not working very well, and we're seeing a lot of downtime with that, we can really zero in with these dashboards that we've created. And so I think it helps the department as well when they're doing some of their long-range planning. They'll know that they've got certain DMS signs, for example, that they need to replace because they're either the age or they continuously go down. And now they have actionable data that they can prove how many times that device went down.
Can you expand on that and talk about how we use it for QPL data as well?
Yeah, so we also look at a device, and if we're seeing a long history of failures and a specific type of failure that can't be corrected, let's say it just continues to happen over and over, then the department can use that to look at it from a QPL perspective and say, maybe we don't need to have this device on our QPL anymore because it constantly fails, and it fails during the summertime, between the months of, let's say, June and August when it's really hot. You know, so we can try to dive into some of that data and find out. Also, we install devices to help on the QPL as well, where we're putting a device out there, the department tests it and verifies whether they want to add it to the QPL, and we can provide some feedback about what we're seeing.
Along the same lines, how the data is used in your life cycle planning?
How the data is used? Yeah, so DTS is obviously new to the program, so we're taking the history that we're learning now. So we're about a year, a little more than a year into the program. And so we've already identified devices that, again, I'll go back to a DMS sign. That's an easy one for us. You know, we look at them, and our worst offender on the sign might fail 4 or 5 times a month. And so that's not good, but it's really the percentage of the number of device days. We track everything in device days. So it may only be a portion of the day. So our worst offender right now is only like 4% down during the month. But still, that's 4% is a lot. We'd rather see them 100%. So that's how we're using that data to try to track, if that's what you're asking.
Well, I'm just jumping to the little conclusions, but then I'm assuming that you shouldn't have to,
They have access to all the
Yes, they have clear transparency to everything. So if Emily goes back to the office and she wants to look up a particular sign, she can pull that up right then. And I think that's one of the big differences from the previous contract, is there's a lot of transparency in this program, and they have access to all the data that we have. So it's really easy for them to look up things as well on their own, to do their own quality checking behind us and make sure we're doing things correctly.
Dave,
Yes.
so that's a pretty big, serious contract y'all have. Is that a painful, lengthy transition from the previous contractor who had that, or is it simple?
Well, I came into this state from Virginia, and I was a little concerned that it was going to be painful. I can tell you it's the easiest transition I've ever made between programs. And it was because of the team members that we have, the department's willingness to work with us. You've got team members like Carlson or Illuminate now and BVH who've been doing this work for a long time. So they already knew what they needed to do. We brought some things, the way we do things to the program, and I think they've all accepted that, and it's worked out. David probably could speak better than I could on that. And then we have other team members like AECOM and 360NS and others who've helped us do work. So, I think putting the team together that we had, it was really strong, and the transition was super easy as far as I'm concerned. Yeah.
How does maintenance handle, like, when there's a large construction project, like 285, 400? And are there any examples where y'all have to, like, come in and do some kind of special thing that maybe they don't have staff to handle?
Yeah, and then Enrique, you speak up if I say something wrong here, but generally, like a 400 MPC project, they handle their own maintenance. So we don't get involved in any of that. I will say if somebody wants us to go look at something or provide some advice, we'll certainly do that, but it's all up to the contractor.
Could you touch on a little bit how we transitioned devices out of maintenance during that period?
Yep. So when we get to the point of the contractor's getting ready to turn the devices over, and here's a good example. We're currently going through this now in a part of the state where we monitor the devices prior to taking them in under maintenance, and we'll put together our own list of things that we're seeing and their up and down times. Then we'll go out and do a field inspection to make sure it's acceptable, and then at that point, once we have all the pertinent information worked out about those devices, then we'll take them in and bring them into the system. Yep.
Is there a specific gate or camera or anything like that you guys hit most often?
There are certain gates that are hit pretty regularly. I will say that. And usually it's when it's raining. We know we're going to get a call on certain ones. Yep.
And Bill's not here, so I might chime in a little bit on that. We have a couple locations that are some of our worst offenders, and so we're working with the DTS team, including BBH, as well as some of the folks in this room probably, to try to figure out what we can do at those locations to hopefully get people to stop driving through stuff so often.
Yeah, JP had a good example of the ramp meter sign that keeps getting knocked down. That's an example where we know we've had this happen. Here's the times it's happened. Let's move it. Yeah. Yeah.
How's the decision made between repair and replace? Say for a camera or more expensive piece of equipment?
Yeah.
It's parts driven partially, and then a lot of the system is still analog. So part of that task order 11 that he was talking about is upgrading to the new. So we take that into account too. If we've got an opportunity to go ahead and get it to an Ethernet standard and away from an analog, that's what we're going to do every time. So that situation is going to be a replace. Every chance I get will be a replace. I'm not going to try to repair that analog. I'm going to try to get it to an Ethernet standard.
When you do have a device that goes down, like a camera or a controller, and it ends up being replaced, do you ever get feedback from the manufacturer? Do they ever evaluate what it was that failed with these devices?
Sure. We're working with Daktronics right now with their VFC series. We've had a series of the controllers that have gone out, and they have looked into the problem, and they've pointed to a firmware. They've given us some new firmware. So the technicians, if it's something that's above what they can fix in the field, they are contacting whatever technical support is available and trying to get the manufacturer. Other than that, the vendors, also help us out with that process as well. If I've got a camera that's not working, I'll take it back to the vendor, and the vendor will help me out with that through the manufacturer as well.
Any other questions?
Maybe to expand on that last point just a little bit, under this contract, these guys are allowed to purchase anything that is on the QPL. So if something's not working and they're not getting the support they want, they're not going to buy it again, right? So there's a little bit of that, I think, that goes into it too, that if the field can't support it and then the customer service side is not supporting it, there's a choice to be made, and that's their prerogative under this contract. As long as it is a QPL device, it is eligible to be purchased. And if they keep getting burned by the same person, they're not going to go back. And they have to maintain it, so we leave that decision up to them.
And that's a great point, Emily, because if the device is down for that day, we don't get paid. So it's in our best interest to make sure that device is up every single day. So. Any other questions? Well, thank you very much for your time. We appreciate it and hope you found that helpful. Thank you.
All right, we're going to close up. I do want to thank Emily again as our moderator and David St. John and J.P. Braden for their time today and helping us to understand a bit more about what a day in the life of a maintenance contract. It sounds like there's some early mornings or late nights. I don't know what you call them at 3:45 in the morning. For me, that's an early morning these days. Maybe back in my 20s, it would have been a late night. But before we close out, I just want to go back over, because we do have a lot of stuff going on, and I'm realizing that as I keep looking at the things that we have. I think we're all just excited to be back in person. So real quickly, nominations for our officers and directors open today and will close in 1 month on July 23rd. We would love to see all of you nominate yourselves, nominate someone else. Let's just get involved. Also, first networking event on July 8th, 2 weeks from tomorrow, I think is what Rachel said. So again, very quickly, we're hitting things running right now. Also be on the lookout for how you can support the children in our community with the Backpack Drive being coordinated through our Outreach Service Committee in partnership with the Boys and Girls Club. So I like what Rachel said. If you want to show up and network and socialize, get in there and donate. Would love to see that happen. So come back to City Springs next month, July 28th, for a TIM overview. Reminder for the ITA, the 2021 annual meeting in September. Registration sponsorships are open. Make your reservations at the amazing JW Marriott in Savannah, Georgia. And we all look forward to seeing us all on the road again, as that is our theme this year for this event. Keep an eye out for ITS Georgia emails, social media announcements to stay informed. As I said, we're hitting the ground running. And if you have any questions, do not hesitate to contact me. Go to the ITS Georgia contact on our website page. We're here to help you. Thank you again for joining us today, and we look forward to seeing you back here at City Springs next month and wishing you all a safe and upcoming Happy Independence Day. So thanks, everyone.